How are you doing? Asking your negative friends and family to take a course like this one so they can become more positive. There's a quote by Angela Medina that I regret not giving you last week. It says, letting go of negative friends doesn't mean you hate them. It just means you love yourself. So keep working to spend more time with positive people and less time with negative people. I also want to go back to week one at this time. As I told you back then, the number one thing I think you can do to become happier is to improve your negative self-talk. When you say such negative things to yourself like, how stupid am I? How fat am I? How dumb am I? And we talked in week one about you catching it, noticing it, bringing it to neutral, and then bringing it to positive. If you're doing well with it, keep it up. If you got frustrated and stopped, please try it again. It's so important. Now we move on to week number 8. Focus on strengthening close relationships. And I want to talk again about a wonderful study that was done. They interviewed people in hospice, older people who were just days away from dying, and they asked them what are their top 5 regrets that they didn't do in their lifetime. And I think it's very apropos for this week. Number 1, they said they wish they lived a life that was true to themselves. They didn't live a life that someone else wanted them to live. That gets back to the week on focusing on playing to our strengths. They wish they had lived a life in their strengths, but they listened to someone else, perhaps a parent, and lived a different life. Second, they wish they didn't work so much. At the end of your life, it's all about the relationships you had. It's not about how many accolades and awards you won at work. Number 5, which I'll bring up now, and it's so wonderful for our program, is I wish I allowed myself to be happier. Again, older people about to die, top 5 reasons they regret. One of them was, I wish I had allowed myself to live a happier life. Now, the next 2, number 3 and number 4, really go along with this week. Number 3, I wish I had allowed myself to express my feelings more freely. And number 4, I wish I had kept in touch with old friends that I lost through the years. It's true, your life will be to a great degree a reflection of the relationships that you have and how close they are during your lifetime. The problem is we take a lot of our relationships for granted. And it's like anything, if you're not working on it, it's not growing, and if it's not growing, it's dying. So today I want you to make a list of the people that you are the closest to, friends and family. I want you to include in friends ones that you've lost along the way, but you were very close to. And I want you to call these people up. I prefer if you invite them to lunch. I'd love you to do it face to face. Over the phone is fine. Don't do it by text. And you're just going to let these people know how much you appreciate them, how much you care for them, and if they're family, how much you love them. Now, for the people you've lost along the way, I assume it's because of disagreements. Maybe you had a good friend, a great friend, and you're no longer speaking to them. I want you to ask yourself, if you found out tomorrow that they passed away, would you regret not having made the first move to reinitiate the relationship? If so, try to give them a call. I know it's not easy if you feel you were right and they were wrong, but try to call them as well. If you don't feel that way, that you want to make that relationship better, even if they were to have passed away, just let it lie. Now, there are 3 relationships that are the most important ones, and I really want you to hear me and focus on them. First and foremost, I want you to focus on the relationship you have with your parents. Don't take it for granted. They're here. You have 365 days a year that you could spend with them. Many of you probably spend 2 of those 365 days. I have friends and you have friends who have lost their parents. They will tell you they would give anything to have just one more day with them. So please try to spend more time with your parents. If you don't speak to them because of a disagreement or you just really struggle being around them, ask yourself the same question. If they were to die today, would you regret not having gotten in touch with them a week ago? If so, please get in touch with them. Don't take your parents for granted. Next is your children. First off, your children need to feel unconditionally loved. Don't just tell them they're great when they get a great grade or when they score a goal in soccer. Let them know you love them all the time. Also, you need to be around children a lot. There's a myth that's called quality time. Workaholics came up with it so they wouldn't feel guilty. They could work 80 hours a week, just see their kids for 2 hours a week, and because it was quality, they'd really spend time with them. They said they're fine. It's all about quantity of time with kids. You need to just be there when the funny stuff happens. You're sitting there watching TV. One of the kids has an ice cream cone. The dog jumps up, licks the ice cream cone. It goes all over everybody's face, and everyone laughs about it. And that's a memory for the future you bring up every 6 months. You remember when the dog jumped up and hit the ice cream cone? Don't fall into the quality time trap. Kids need you to be around lots of the time. Try to get home at 6 every night. Kids also need to know that when you're there, you're there. Getting back to the week when I talked about living in the present. When you're with your kids, don't be thinking about what happened last week at work that didn't go well or what's going to happen next week at work. Be with your kids all the time and be with them in mind and body. Next and most importantly is the relationship you have with the person you love. You need to spend as much time working on the relationship you have with the person you love as you do with anything else, whether it's your job. It's such a shame people spend more time working on their car than they do on their marriage. If you don't keep it fresh, it will wither and die. Buy your spouse flowers just because, not because it's their birthday or Valentine's Day, just because you love them. You need to keep it fresh. You need to understand that everybody needs to feel special in life. When you first dated your significant other, you made them feel special every hour. You'd call them up. Do you love me? Do you love me? I love you. I love you more. Now it's been 30 years and you're not making her or him feel special. She will or he will look elsewhere, maybe an affair, but I'm not really talking about an affair. I'm talking about them deciding to join a volleyball club or spend more time with their friends than with you. And this may seem innocent if you just look at it individually, but the less time you spend with your significant other, the relationship gradually dies. I also want to mention if you're struggling in your relationship, I highly recommend marriage counseling. It's worked for so many people I know. Just having a third party there so you can speak and he or she will listen without interrupting, and then the other person speaks and he or she will not interrupt, makes a world of difference. When you're not getting along, there's no intimacy in a relationship. You go to the marriage counsel, you break down the walls, all of a sudden it's intimate again. So let's recap. Make a list of all the people that you're closest to in your life, family and friends, including ones that you used to be tight with that you aren't anymore. Call them up. I prefer you to meet them face to face, but if not, do it over the phone. Just let them know how much you appreciate them, how much you care for them, and certainly, if you're comfortable with the word, how much you love them. If it's people you've lost touch with because of a bad relationship, ask yourself, if they were to die tomorrow, would you regret getting in touch with them? If you would, then get in touch with them. If not, let it lie. Spend as much time as you can with your parents. They're gonna die one day. Don't regret it. Don't take your parents for granted. With your kids, make sure they feel unconditionally loved. Quantity time, not quality. Spend as much time as you can with them and be there. Don't be thinking about other things when you're with your kids. And with your marriage, keep it strong, keep it vibrant, keep it exciting. Your significant other will look elsewhere if you're not making them feel special. We just need to feel special. If we're not getting it at home, we will look elsewhere. Not just in a cheating situation, but also with spending time with other people instead of you. Marriage counseling is a great idea as well. So that's it for this week, week 8. Next week, we're going to talk about the importance of being cheerful. Have a great week.